morning, everyone, uh, and very welcome to the Global Azure 2021. My name is Keshav, and in this session, I'm going to walk you through Azure Sentinel modern day SIEM tool for Security Operations Center. We call it as a SOC. So we will see how Azure Sentinel is going to help to build the foundation for a cost-effective and highly automated cloud security platform and helping the SOCs with the modern day technologies. So just a quick introduction. Actually, it's again introduction. Already, Karthikeyan has told about me, but yeah, just a, a half a minute thing. Um, so my name is Keshav. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, holds around 13 plus years of experience in infrastructure management, application packaging, uh, .NET deployment, Azure technologies like Azure Log Analytics, Azure Monitor, Azure Sentinel, and Azure Automation. These four technologies are very close to my heart. I also worked on a System Center Operations Manager, and recently I started exploring the Microsoft Defender and Azure Security Center and other security aspect. Before we start a session, just a very small disclaimer. Whatever I'm gonna present here, all are my own views. The content for the session I collected by visiting various Microsoft blogs, articles, books, and lot of newsletter I keep following. So I have collected the information from there. In any case, I'm not gonna represent my employer strategies or my client security strategies or their SIEM or a SOAR strategies. So yeah, that's about the introductions and other stuff. So let's quickly start the session. So for 3-4 minutes, we will just talk about some of the terminology like SOC, SIEM, and SOAR, because if somebody is not from this domain, just to give them what these all stand for. So the first thing that comes is the Security Operations Center. So the Security Operations Center is a team that continuously monitor and analyzes the security procedures. They look into the daily security aspects and many other things. Actually, it acts like the hub that collects telemetry from uh, across an organization IT infrastructure and further analyze it, and thus helping organization to protect itself from the vulnerable threats like cyber threats or many other threats like Solarigate or anything that comes in. They are primarily responsible for identifying, analyze, and reacts to the cybersecurity threats, investigate suspicious activities, contain and prevent them. They also help us in reducing the downtime that can happen due to the security failure. So they also try to help us in reducing the downtime and help us in ensuring the business runs continuously. At high level, like what what SOC is, like they are responsible for log management, security incident event management, or security orchestration and automated response, vulnerability management, incident response, like dealing with the incidents, and intrusion prevention and detection. The another important concept is about SIEM. Um, Most of you know that SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management. In a short, I mean, on the screen there is a Gartner definition, what Gartner called SIEM and what they think. But in short, it is a system that has a log files, security alerts, and events that is like stored at one place. So it's a tool to do the log management system that's specialized for the security. So SIEM tools are like they help us in monitoring the security things, identifying the security alerts, and analyzing it, and how to take actions on the incidents, how to automate it, how to do response to the incident, whom to assign incident. These all things are like related to the SIEM. Uh, so another important topic is about like SOAR, that's called security, orchestration, automation, and response. Uh, these again, the Gartner, what Gartner called SOAR, it's on the screen. But in short, I mean, it's a tool that help us in doing the vulnerability management, incident response, and more importantly, bringing the automation to our to the security operation team. Uh, like how we can enable the automation, how we can take an action on the incident, and like it's like we get an alert in the SIEM tool, and then performing a triage by leveraging the combination of the human and the machine power. So here we can just build the automation. A very important thing, I'm sure like most of you have read this news somewhere over the Twitter or anywhere like on any public platform, that Microsoft has made around 10 billion dollar business in 2020. um, and the Sentinel is the like as the biggest contributor to the Microsoft security business. Sentinel, it's like a emerging tool. I have seen people are talking a lot about the Sentinel. As per some Microsoft data, like 9,000 customers are already using the Azure Sentinel uh, since September 2019, when this tool came into the thing in the general release. There is some report about the total economic impact, so I'm not going to read about it. I mean, once the slides are shared, you can read about it over the GitHub and somewhere else. But more importantly, like Microsoft has made a very serious and heavy investment in the security in the last few years. Gone are the days when the Microsoft antivirus was not that watertight. We just used to ignore the Microsoft antivirus. But since then, Microsoft has made a very solid investment, and they are taking the security as a very serious thing. And they are quite active, I mean, helping the organization to maintain their security postures or everything related to the security. uh, Couple of more slides for introduction, and then we will start jumping into the real-time demo. um, I can understand it may be a little bit boring, but then just a quick introduction, and then we will jump to the real things. So in this session, we are going to talk about how Sentinel can help you in the SOC operations, or it's a modern day tool. The digital transformation, how it can bring the digital transformation into your security operations center. So uh, Sentinel is a cloud native, a complete cloud native SIEM and SOAR tool. I mean, it's a tool that can do both SIEM, security incident event management, and security orchestration, automated response. Uh, it completely eliminates the need of heavy infrastructure and their complexity, because it's in the cloud, and we can easily manage it. Uh, because it's on a cloud, we just go to the Azure portal and manage it from there. Uh, it has capabilities of investing the security data collected from multiple cloud and on premises. It can analyze the large volume of data, and you don't have to worry about the underlying infrastructure. With the traditional SIM, you might have to worry about when the large chunk of volume comes in. People get worried that it may impact the infrastructure on the SIM tool is running, but here we don't have to worry about it. I mean, it can help us in dashboarding capabilities, alert triaging, and many other things. Uh, that's a core responsibility of the SOC. So in short, we can call this as a Sentinel is a cloud-based security analytical tool that is addressing the challenges faced by the security operations center teams. So Sentinel can collect the data, it can detect the threats, it provides you the option of hunting, dashboarding, with which you can detect the threat. It gives you an option of investigating the incident and responding to the incident, and many other things. So why actually Sentinel is in demand? First thing, because due to the cloud. Second is Microsoft is uh, owns the Sentinel, Microsoft owns the Windows, Microsoft owns the Azure, Microsoft is making heavy investment in the security. So that's the reason, like uh, uh, Sentinel is in demand. It's on a cloud, so we don't have to worry about the licensing or any other thing. We just have to pay whatever we are using. If you are from the SIEM domain, then you know there is a bit of headache in managing the SIEM environment itself. You need a group of people, a big team to manage the infrastructure. They may not be that team may not be expert in SIEM, but they are experts in how to manage the infrastructure where SIEM tool is running. We don't have to install any servers in the on premises or in the cloud. uh, and it provides you an option of integrating with third-party clouds, Amazon, Google, IBM clouds, and you can write your own things, and it's help you in like enabling end-to-end security operations. So let's jump to the Azure portal and let's have a look how the Sentinel looks like and how it works, and then we will again come back to the slides. So I'm going to open my Azure portal. Here is the Azure portal. uh, so to access the Sentinel, either you can just type Azure Sentinel here, start accessing it from here, and I mean, if it's already configured, you can use it here. Otherwise, we will just see how we can configure the Azure Sentinel. So very important thing about the Azure Sentinel is it totally depend on the log analytics workspace, Azure log analytics workspace. That's part of the Azure monitor. So it uses the Azure log analytics workspace as a basic infrastructure where the data stores, where all the telemetry stores, and from where we can fetch up the data. So to create a Sentinel, like when you click on the create, it's not give you the option to create a new Sentinel. It will ask you to create a either a new log analytics workspace or link it with your existing log analytics workspace. So I will just click on new workspace. Here again is it's not talking about Sentinel workspace, it's talking about the log analytics workspace on which our Sentinel will stand upon. So quickly I will select anything, say global SOAR 2021, and I will just deploy it. These are some concepts specific to the log analytics workspace, the billing, uh, pay as you go, like how much data you are inserting into the log analytics workspace, you have to pay for it. And then let's create it. So here again, I will say like we are not creating the Sentinel, we are just creating the log analytics workspace with which our
Keshav, Keshav, there is a small disturbance in your mic. Can you like uh, your mic
better
little bit
now,
away from your better away, little bit more away?
better now.
Perfect. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
sorry for disturbance. So yeah, uh, so yeah, like so we have just created this global Azure 2021 log analytics workspace, and now we are going to attach it with the Sentinel. So I'm gonna click on add, and then it's going to uh, create a Sentinel infrastructure where I can do the things. So uh, it'll hardly take 1 or 2 minutes. Here we can see the progress, and then here is our uh, Azure Sentinel. So I'm not going to use this. I have already configured uh, this workspace where I can use up the things. So again, coming back to the Azure Sentinel, here you can see this is now a test, and but I'm going to use this one where I have a lot of things. So this is how it's quite simple to create the Azure Sentinel, but then uh, you have to keep a lot of things in mind about the size of the log analytics workspace, the reason where you are deploying the log analytics workspace, and other things. There are a lot of guidelines available over the net. You can follow them for configuring the log analytics workspace. So I totally come from the log analytics workspace, and then I moved into the Sentinel. But most of you maybe comes from the other way around, like from the SIEM background, and log analytics workspace may be new to you. In that case, I mean, it's not a very a big thing to learn. I mean, you can just follow a couple of articles and then you can have a good understanding how log analytics works. And if you have ever worked on the monitoring tool, then you can easily correlate the things. So here, this is a view about the Azure Sentinel, how Sentinel looks like. We have these many options. We will come to all of these in little bit. Let's quickly move to the slides. So yeah, just moving back to the slide. So we talked about the log analytics workspace. Uh, so to configure the Sentinel, we need the log analytics workspace. It's a part of the Azure Monitor. Overall concept is the Azure Monitor. There we have two things: application inside workspace and the log analytics workspace. And it's built upon highly scalable log analytics workspace. Uh, it can act as a, I mean, a place where you will be sending out your telemetry data. Agents will be collecting the telemetry data. Everything will be stored here. And when the things are projected over the dashboard in background, it will be pulling up the data from the log analytics workspace. So once you have configured the Azure Sentinel workspace integrated with the LA workspace, it's just an open container. I mean, it's a box that doesn't have many things. Now there is a concept called data connectors. So data connectors are something that actually pulls up the data from the resources. I mean, it can pull up the data from any of the Azure resources. Uh, with few exceptions, almost every Azure resources can coordinate connect with the log analytics, and from there we can pull up the data to the Sentinel. uh, Connectors are kind of responsible for pulling up the data from third-party clouds or the Defender or from anything. There are wide variety of connector available, such as some important aspect are Office 365 connector, Azure Defender connector, Azure Active Directory connectors, or you can do the monitoring of your own firewalls. We have tried setting up for the Iron Port, Cisco, Microsoft Firewall, lot of things. And if you are from the Linux background, you know how important it is the syslog servers or the common event format. It can help you in doing that also. And I mean, now the Microsoft have released PowerShell modules, APIs, so you can have your own things. So in short, there are 3-4 types of connectors available: the native connectors, the direct connectors, API based connectors, and the agent based connectors. Native are something like Azure Active Directory. For configuring, you don't have to do anything, just go and click on connect. Direct connectors are someone like the AWS, CloudTrail, or the Firewall that will directly send out the data. API, you can write your own APIs, and the agent base is like from any Windows machine you want to collect the event logs, security logs, or DNS log. You just have to deploy the agent, and they will start sending out the data. And these most of the connectors are actually powered by the Graph Security API. Some of the connectors are heavily depend on the Graph Security API. It is used to access the data. API collects information from many different security platform like the Azure Active Directory, Azure Security Center, Intune, and other stuff. So let's jump to the connector. Like once you have your Sentinel workspace ready, the second thing that you need to do is to work on the connectors. So to work on the connector, that's part of the configuration. So you have to come here, and now here you can see how many connectors are available. 98 connectors are available, and this, like, I mean, next week or say next month when you comes here, you'll see this number has gone more than 100. Microsoft is like increasing the connectors day by day, and it's not only about the Microsoft connector. I mean, you have like Akemi, Amazon, Apache, lot of things, Cisco, lot of connectors are available. Even the Pulse VPN, uh, Salesforce, lot of things. So to set up the connector, uh, you just have to actually go into these things. I mean, for example, we want to set up the Azure Active Directory connector. I mean, if it's in a green, like this green, this vertical green line, that means it's already connected. So Let me switch to this one. If I see if I can reconnect any of the connector. So let's see, Azure Active Directory. So we just have to click on open connector page. And now the very good thing that I know about the layout of this tool, the way information is presented here. I mean, even if it's if you are new to these all things, you can start reading it from here. I mean, it's very essential to read. Everything is mentioned here. If you have some idea about the log analytic, then you can correlate. So what it is saying, like once I enable the Azure Active Directory based connector, it's going to give me the information about these all, like logs, sign-in logs, audit logs. Lot of logs are available. So in order to configure this, these are some prerequisites treated here, and we just have to like select what all information we want to pull up into our Sentinel, and then click on the apply changes. It'll hardly take 1 minute, sorry, 10 second or 15 second, and after that you can have the things. And then after the instruction, this is something that I really love, is the next steps. They tell you about, once you have this connector available, these kind of data you will have, these kind of incident you can have. These things can help you in doing the things. So we have configured the Azure Active Directory based connector. I will just pick up one or two. uh, Azure activity. It's a very simple, like uh, click on this one and select, like just connect on it. uh, of course, I mean, maybe little bit tricky for new one, but then everything is available here. Now the best thing about the connector is, like if you are in the licensing, like E3 licensing, E5 licensing, and if your organization have the E5 license, then you can make use of these Defender connector. They are like one of the best type of connector available. Few of them are still in a preview, but they gives a lot of information. I mean, a lot of raw data that's needed for the SOC, Security Operations Center, to perform the actions, can be pulled up with the help of these Defender connectors. Unfortunately, I don't have that E5 license in my lab, so I'll just show you here how, what all things you can do it. I mean, uh, you just have to like click on these all things, and then it can pick the information about the device info and everything. I mean, although it's giving me this option, but I may not be able to gather the information here, like introduction about the Defender. uh, um, like whatever the incident raised into the Defender can come to the Sentinel. So you don't have to be like two team, you don't need two teams, like the team that manages the Defender incident and the team that manages the SIEM incident, because with this connector the data can arrive into the Sentinel, and from there you can take look I mean, you can look into these all things. So uh, it's quite simple. I'm gonna just click on the apply changes. So it'll start collecting the data, and you see this mcache, identity. These all things can help you in doing the things, a lot of security specific things. Then we have this Defender thing. We have firewalls, Barracuda firewall. Lot of firewalls are there, they can do it. Or you can say like syslogs are there. Like syslog, what you need to do is, uh, it depend on the Linux infrastructure. So what it does, like it's an agent kind of a connectors available. uh, you just have to deploy the log analytics agent over the virtual machines that is configured as a syslog server. Once the agent is uh, deployed, then you have to make some settings. As told initially, that log the Sentinel, it's uses the log analytics workspace in the background. So you just have to in some cases we have to make use of the log analytics settings. So we'll just go to the log analytics setting, and here we just have to add the facility. So I say auth thing, and I think like it's called local, oh sorry, say local 0, or let's say syslog. So here we can control the cost. I mean, if you want everything, everything can come here. If you want limited thing, alerts, critical thing, you can choose it here and just click on apply changes. So what it will do is once the changes are applied, it's going to bring up the data uh, from your Linux machine, and then you can analyze that for your uh, identifying the threats and many things. So what I will do is I will just quickly go to my login, sorry, to my Azure portal, and I will just try to restart or do some actions on my virtual machine so that we may have some data for the syslog. Okay, I will just do restart. Okay, maybe after 5-10 minutes we'll have some data. So let's quickly move back to the presentation to the slides. So I talked about the graph security API. I mean, if you are more into the writing your own APIs, then you can make your own graph security API. You can develop your own um, custom connector that can bring up the data from your applications also. So it's a core to know about the graph security API, but I mean, it's not something very mandatory that you should know. I mean, you can, if you are more in the SOCs thing, then you can learn it later on. Now, there is a very important concept that called threat intelligence. So threat intelligence, it's about like I mean, if you talk about the cyber security, it's a very I mean, you can call it as a very complex or a bit complex or a little bit complex thing, uh, because due to the sophistication of the attacks, like the sophistication of the hackers or the attackers, they have made the cyber security little bit challenging, and it is very difficult for organization to keep track of all kind of vulnerabilities, uh, like to gain an understanding what to look for and deciding what to do uh, when you see a system anomaly or any potential threat. It's a very complex and a challenging thing. But now here the threat intelligence comes into the picture. Threat intelligence, what it does, it will provide the list of the indicator for detection and blocking the malicious activities. Um, I mean, even the Microsoft provides access to its own threat intelligence feeds. It makes use of the TI indicator API, and it can also work with a lot of open source threat indicator data from the public servers to identify, analyze, and respond to the threat activities. So, if you are from the SIEM background, I'm sure you might have heard about the terms like ATT and CK, or uh, taxi trusted automated exchange of indicator information, or adversarial tactics technologies and common knowledges. So these all things can be integrated with the Sentinel with the help of the threat intelligence. Right now threat intelligence is in a preview, but I mean, it's ready for launch. I mean it can help you in with a lot of things. So let's go back to the okay, threat management. So we talked about the data connectors. Data connectors will bring the raw data. I mean, uh, once you configured your log analytics workspace and the Sentinel workspace, you have the raw data. Like, I mean, if you go to the logs, and here you can see what all logs you have. So I will show what all information we collected in the last 30 minutes. This is powered by KQL queries, that's called Custo query languages. It's a part of the, I mean, it's a concept that comes from the um, data, data, uh, data explorer, Azure Data Explorer. Oh, okay. Sorry, this is a new workspace, so we may not see it. Let me just do the copy thing, and I will just go to the Ignite logs. So I'm talking about the raw data that we have it here. Not gonna run it for the say 24 hours, because we have heavy data and it will take little bit time to pulls up. So we are just trying to find out what all data we have. So if you are seeing this query, these are, you may find it similar to the SQL, the structured query language, SQL query languages, but they are not the SQL query. They are similar to it, and most of their concept also comes here. Say, heavy data sometime we have, when we have a lot of records, uh, it'll say like you are trying to pull up a lot of information, it may fail. So uh, otherwise I will just modify the query and say this thing. We will just say in what all tables we have data. Let me copy this and say in last 40 or 48 hours we have collected the data into these many tables. And once you go to any of the table, let's quickly say Azure activity. In this table, this data is into the raw format. I mean, you cannot make sense. I mean, a lot of things are provides, a lot of thing is in the JSON format, lot of things are there. So to make sense of this, to convert into the meaningful data, what you need is that's called the threat management. So to do the threat management comes here, like this threat management is here. So threat management has incident workbooks, hunting capabilities, entity behavior, that's called user entity behavior analytics, and the threat intelligence, that's in a preview. So the data, what data will do is data will pull up the information, but the threat management will help us in making sense of that raw information. We can write how to use the queries, and uh, how to format the queries, or how to configure the incidents. So here we have lot of things. Will not spend much time on the presentation, we'll just go to the things. So hunting capabilities, it's like threat hunting, it's like proactive remediation. So it's something like you came to office and you heard about some kind of attack, for say Solari get attacked happened, or Hafnium attacked happened, and the first thing that comes in your mind is to search to see if any of your things are impacted by it. Then you can make use of the hunting capability. So here you have to write those KQL, Kusto query languages. KQL is a very powerful query language. It has IntelliSense. You can create your own bookmarks. And the best thing about the Sentinel um, is the GitHub library. Uh, the people are contributing to it. I mean, for each and everything, you will see a lot of queries are available. So you just have to understand how KQL query works in, and then you can copy the queries from there and make use of it. So it's hunting, you can call it as a proactive thing that can help you in investigating the things, or to find out if your infrastructure is impacted or not. So to do the hunting, what you have to do is you just have to come here to your Sentinel portal. In that threat management, you see hunting, and once you come to the hunting page, you'll see a lot of things are already available. You have queries for lot of things. I mean, templates for anything. Let's say I'll say if we have Solar, we have something for solar winds inventory or anything. So we just make use of this one. So I will, or say Active Directory we have. Okay, we can, let's find out about this Azure activity, AD account lockout. So what I will do is I just have to create the query, run this query. Before that, uh, if you see this one, uh, okay, let me run this query and then I'll show you that. So this query, what it'll do is it'll try to identify whether if I have any AD account logged out. I mean, if any of the AD account as or Active Directory accounts are logged out or not. So it runs any query into the background and try to fetch up the data. So it's a my own environment, just one account. So we don't have that information. But these kind of things can help you. If you see this one here, let me come to again to the hunting capabilities. You see, oh, Not sure. This is about like type of tactics available, like initial access, or a lot of things are there. I mean, for some reason it's not getting visible. Don't know what. But here you see these kind of initial access is there, executions are there, or infiltration, impact. I mean, if you are from the SIEM background, you can correlate. So we will click on this one also from here, and it will show up the things related to the, if anything happens related to the what is about the credential access, and then you have these many queries you can make use of it. So we can make use like failed logon attempts to the SQL, or tracking password changes, many things you can make use of it. Multiple password resets, so if somebody is trying to reset their password again and again, you can find out who all are trying to do that. And then like once you run it, it's going to give you that information. So just sometimes you'll get confused, like when your screen is hidden, you just make sure you keep exploring, expanding the screen, and then run the queries. And here you can see a lot of detailed information also. So here you can view results. We will not have anything because it's just a demo environment. So we talked about the hunting capabilities. The most important capability that comes up is the alerting capabilities. Uh, if you are from the SOC or the SIEM, you know how important it is to deal with the incidents, the alerts that are generated by any SIEM tools. I mean, because everything depends on it. People will be keeping eye on the incidents, how many incidents are generated, how many incidents are processed, how many are assigned. So Sentinel provides a great facility to deal with the incidents also. uh, you can call it incident is something like notifying someone when something happens. So it's not a proactive thing. It's like identify someone when something wrong happened, may some kind of access breach happened, or somebody tried to intrude in your environment. So for those all things you can have the incident capabilities. Okay, so let's go back to to the Azure portal. So incident. So like once you come here, you can see the incident which are raised. I'm talking about the incident which are raised in the infrastructure. I'm not talking about how you can create the incident. It will give you the picture about how many incidents are raised in your infrastructure. You see last 24 hours, you can change it from here also. 48 hours, 7 days, or custom range, anything. So I have created some sample incidents. So these incidents are telling me that some critical services are modified in my infrastructure. So you can click on this one. It will give you the uh, option to investigate also, but I don't have enough of data to investigate, so that's the reason it is disabled. You can just click on the full details. Here you can see about like what is there, what's the name of the incident. So it says some critical service are modified. So what I did is, like any service that is specific to the Azure, if its state is not running, then generate an incident. So it's I have made marked the tactics as an initial access and the execution. So these many things are like, these are the information which I can uh, use it for the investigation. If you are configuring your incident correctly, you will have a good amount of information that can be used for triaging the incident and many things. Now, let's talk about the incident. What we can do with the incident is, so we have this incident, and I am the SOC, and I want to assign it to someone. Then what I will do is I will pick up this one, pick this incident, come here, and I will just assign it to, say, okay, to my colleague Ajit. So I will just assign this, and there this incident is assigned to him. And once he can change the state like active, so I will just say active incident. I can change the severity and many things, and from there my colleague can take actions. He can investigate, he can find out whether it's a false positive or it's a true one, or many things, many actions he can he can perform. So what I will do is I will just assign one incident to myself, assign to me, apply the incident, and then I will just come here. And from here I can see up the things. Incidents are whatever the incident, one active incident is there, three new incidents are there or something. We can perform the actions. So once this is assigned to me, I can mark it as a uh, something like false positive. So I will just do this, mark this as a, I will just close out this incident, closed. I will say false positive. I It's for demo purpose. Once it is closed, it's closed. I mean, it'll go out of the list. So this is how, I mean, we have a lot of options for the incident. So I talked about how you can deal with the incident, but you need a mechanism of creating the incident. Then that configuration comes into the picture. In the configuration, data connector will bring up the data. This is the option that's called analytics. Analytics will help you in creating the incidents. So you have these all are the active rules. These rules are going to create the incidents when something goes wrong. Otherwise, there are plenty of rules available here that can be used for configuring the incident. So I will just, I mean, you don't have to actually do much, like you don't have to spend your time in configuring the incident. Everything is ready made. Templates are ready made. You can make use of it. So I will say, okay, create an incident based on the Azure Security Center. Click on this next step. Sorry, this one. Make sure this button is sometime hidden. Sometime I also get confused why the next screen is not coming. So just expand it. Click on create rule. Everything, even the description is written here. So I will say Azure Global 2021 and uh, just do this and then create. So now this alert rule is active, and when something it matches the criteria, it's going to generate the uh, incident for me. So we have plenty of templates, but it's not limited to the templates. If you are good into the KQL queries, you can make use of this one. Or I mean, you say this logs, just a 1 minute thing, very incident, very important. uh, okay. And when you come to the logs here, you have a lot of things, lot of information available. I mean, these are also kind of a template that can help you. So I'll just pick up security and let's say most active service principal. I will just remove some criteria. Oh, actually, I don't have service principal. So search table, and I will just pick up any of the table. Say change tracking, configuration change. And here I can just write out my query. Say if you don't know the query, make use of the filter. uh, Quickly, when any of the change category is removed for my machine, ignite.ignite.com, type should be the Windows. So if it matches this criteria, then generate an alert rule. You can simply click on the Sentinel alert rule and fill up the form. Here you have to do this fill up description, what kind of tactics it is. I will just make sure initial access. There is a good documentation available about kind of a tactics available. You can make use of it. Alert logic here, if you put all the information, uh, it will help you in doing the investigation also. This is the query. You can do the entity mapping, you can do the custom detailing here, and a lot of things you can do. for creating the templates. Once these kind of templates are ready, you can have the custom template, you can have the Microsoft provide templates for doing the investigation, for generating the incidents or the alert, or you can call them as an actionable moments on which you can take the actions. Now, very important thing is the playbook. That's called that's part of the uh, automation. We talked about the SOAR, security orchestration, and the automated response. So here the playbook comes in the picture. Playbooks are logic app based playbooks. So it's something like when a security alarm is raised, the SOC team in some cases needs an assistant from several other teams in order to investigate the issues or to mitigate that threat, or you want to perform some actions there, or uh, in that case you can make use of the Azure Sentinel playbooks. These are the logic apps that can help you in building the automations. For example, you automatically want to assign incident to someone, or there is a very one use case on which we worked upon, like uh, if somebody is creating any specific IP into the Azure portal with a specific range, or if somebody is creating a virtual machines by and allowing all and opening all the ports, HTTPS port and other kind of ports. So we have given the instruction that raise an incident with the help of the analytics. And once we have this kind of incident, we can take the automated actions like uh, blocking that machine for some time, or sending out the notification on the teams, or lot of things. So that is option is available through the automation. And very recently there is the automation based rules also available that can help you in doing the things here. You can this new rule is like recently launched thing, but you can make use of the playbook is like the logic apps that can help you in doing the things and pulling up the data. So I will quickly fill up this global Azure 2021. There are connectors available into this. Don't get confused with the data connector. Here, I'm talking about the connector that's a part of the logic apps. Uh, so here you will have your logic apps configured. Go to the resource logic apps. I will look for the Sentinel based connector. Uh, they are there are a lot of templates are available. I will just select this Sentinel and say when an Azure Sentinel incident rule was triggered, or let's use this when a response to an is triggered. In here I just have to select with Sentinel. So with help of this one we can do the automated response thing. Just trying to explain you in very short, because these are the things which actually cannot be explained in 1 hour, or I mean it takes a days or even the week of time to explain these all things or to deal. So here I will say okay, this one, and then new step. Here add comments to the incident, like lot of options are there. It's going to can do the things, so I will just save it for now. uh, just with this add a comment to the incident, that's all. I will just save it here. Okay. Yes, I'm just filling up anything. I mean, you just have to little bit carefully. You have to fill up. I mean, not putting the right information, it will not work. But just for these all things. So this is the like logic app that can perform the automated actions. With the help of the logic apps, you can call the functions. You can call the Azure Automation runbooks. You can call the webhooks. Many things. So it provides you this kind of interface. And then if I go back to the Sentinel and in the analytics we have these incidents. In the incidents like this one, I want to enable the automation, then I will just go to this automation, and after a few minutes I think this will be available, so I can just attach it from here. So this is how like you can make use of the make use of the playbooks. So playbooks, you can see it here as well. what all kind of playbooks are available. You can see it under the automation, and once you configure the permission, you can see the playbook. So this is logic app test, like lot of kind of playbooks are already there. Some of these already comes from the Sentinel, like blocks, IP address, Jira tickets, lot of things. So that's about the automation. One important aspect I think I've not covered, that is about the uh, workbook. This is workbooks are kind of a dashboards, like if you are working in the big organization, uh, and you want a lot of dashboards to be created, then you can make use of this workbook capabilities. Again, there are a lot of templates available. You can make use of the template once you this has already signed in, view this template. So this kind of a template will give you all the information related to the sign in by location, sign in by details. You just have to configure this one, uh, and then you will have the information. So workbook can be used for viewing the things, for projecting the things over the dashboards that can help you. So yeah, the another important concept that is, this is also added very recently, that's called user and entity behavior analytics. So if you want to look about, you want to do the investigation about any specific user, then you can come to the entity behavior. By default, once you comes here, if you have some big environment, then this can help you in uh, like the account, the user for which you are getting the maximum number of alerts. You will see it, you can directly start the investigation from here, or you can say about the host for which a lot of informations are generated. So I will just search for a machine. You can search this. I have the syslog servers. Do I have any information for it here? Right now, no alert is generated, and we don't have any information because just demo environment. So this gives you about like exploring about the user or about the machine, about their behavior. I mean, with this, even you can find out what kind of broadband provider they are, what is their location, and many things. So yeah, uh, so uh, like we talked about various functionality of the Sentinel. So with the Sentinel, actually, it's capable of helping your SOC, security operation center, uh, and it can bring, because Sentinel is a capable of bringing Microsoft own products together. I mean, with the help of the Graph Security API or any other things, you can tie up all together, all Microsoft product together. And additionally, it brings the capabilities for the central, like bringing the capability of being a central component of an organization security operation center, uh, like a center place. You can have incidents, you can have alerts, everything. So like this is how it can help you in uh, uh, em- embedding or enabling your SOC with the modern day tool like the Azure Sentinel. So yeah, that's about, I mean, how you can do the things with the Azure Sentinel.